At 3:14 in the morning, every mirror on Earth stopped reflecting. Not shattered, not darkened, just changed, all at once, in the same silent second, in every bathroom, every bedroom, every car, every store window with reflective glass. I was brushing my teeth when it happened, staring at my own tired face in the mirror above the sink, and then, without warning, my reflection simply wasn't mine anymore. It was still me, still my face, still my green shirt, but I was standing somewhere else entirely, in a version of my own bathroom that didn't exist, with the lights switched off, and rain hitting a window that isn't in my actual apartment. I dropped my toothbrush in the sink, and didn't move for almost a full minute, because the version of me on the other side of the glass hadn't moved either. It was just standing there, watching me back. My name is Ren, and until 6 days ago, I was a completely unremarkable 22-year-old working night shifts at a convenience store, the kind of person nobody would ever think to write a story about. Now, every mirror on the planet has stopped functioning as a mirror and started functioning as something closer to a window, and for reasons nobody can explain, the window in my bathroom is the only one that opens onto somewhere that shouldn't exist at all. Other mirrors around the world, according to the news, now show real places. Other rooms, other cities, other mirrors, all somehow connected to each other in a tangled, impossible web. Mine shows a version of my own life that never actually happened. The first day was chaos everywhere, except inside my own four walls. Footage flooded in from every direction. Someone in Berlin looked into their bathroom mirror and saw a hallway in what looked like Tokyo. A woman in Brazil described watching her own reflection mouth words she wasn't saying, in perfect sync, from what appeared to be a completely different decade, judging by the clothes and furniture behind her. Physicists went on every major network within hours, all giving some version of the same shaky, half-formed explanation. Reflective surfaces shouldn't be capable of transmitting light from a location they aren't physically pointed at, let alone showing scenes that don't correspond to any real-time location on Earth. Nobody had an actual answer. They just had a name for it by the end of the day. The glass event. I didn't tell anyone about my mirror right away. I told myself I was still processing it, but honestly, I think some part of me wanted to keep looking a little longer before anyone else got involved. Every time I stood in front of it, the other version of my bathroom seemed slightly different. A coffee cup that hadn't been there before, a jacket draped over a chair I don't own, small details accumulating like someone was slowly moving into a life that was almost, but not quite, mine. On the second night, the other me finally lifted a hand and pressed it flat against the inside of the glass. I pressed mine against it too, out of instinct more than thought. And for one impossible second, the glass between us felt warm. That's when the government showed up. I still don't know how they found me. Whether it was some kind of anomaly detection network monitoring reflective surfaces worldwide, or whether someone I trusted reported it. Either way, by the third morning, 3 unmarked vehicles were parked outside my apartment building, and men in plain black jackets were already inside my hallway before I'd even finished getting dressed. They didn't introduce themselves, they didn't explain anything. They simply photographed my bathroom mirror from every angle, wrapped it in protective foam without ever letting it out of a specialized containment case, and told me, calmly and firmly, that I was coming with them. I was taken to a research facility built into a decommissioned subway maintenance tunnel beneath the city, its walls lined with humming servers and rows of monitoring equipment that looked older than they should have been. There, in a cramped, dimly lit control room, I met Dr. Voss, a tired-looking woman who introduced herself as the lead researcher on what the government had internally started calling Project Reflection. I demanded to know what was happening to my bathroom, to the other version of me, to any of it. Her answer wasn't comforting. Every mirror on Earth is now connected to some other point in reality, she said, pulling up a massive wall display showing a chaotic, constantly shifting web of thin glowing lines, each one representing a mirror somewhere in the world, linked to another mirror somewhere else. Except yours, Ren. Yours isn't connected to anywhere else on this map. It's the only one showing something that doesn't correspond to any known location, timeline, or mirror currently active on Earth. She zoomed the display in on a single, isolated point, glowing a different color from every other line on the chart, sitting completely alone, unconnected to the sprawling global network. Every other mirror is a window into somewhere real. Yours might be a window into somewhere that was never supposed to exist at all. That sentence sat in my chest like a stone for the rest of the day. I wasn't just another data point in a global anomaly. Whatever was happening to me specifically was different, isolated, and apparently unprecedented, even among thousands of other reported cases flooding in from every country on the planet. Over the next 2 days, they ran test after test on the wrapped, contained mirror, keeping it in a separate reinforced chamber down the hall from where I was being monitored. Cameras recorded it around the clock. Sensors measured every possible frequency of light and energy passing through the glass. And still, according to Dr. Voss, every single test came back with the exact same maddening result. Nothing. No unusual radiation, no detectable energy signature, nothing that should make this particular mirror behave any differently than an ordinary sheet of glass, and yet the footage kept confirming, hour after hour, that the reflection on the other side kept moving on its own, kept aging in small, subtle ways, kept becoming a slightly different version of a life running in parallel to mine. On the fourth night, everything changed. I was allowed back into the observation room to look at the mirror one final time before they moved it to a more secure facility out of state. The other version of me was sitting on the edge of a bathtub that doesn't exist in my apartment, staring directly at the glass, waiting, as if he already knew I'd be standing there. Slowly, deliberately, he lifted one hand and began writing on the fogged surface of his side of the glass, backward from my perspective, but perfectly readable once I understood what I was looking at. 3 words: don't let them. Before I could process what that meant, before I could even open my mouth to call for Dr. Voss, the reinforced glass surrounding the mirror let out a sharp, cracking groan, a single hairline fracture racing diagonally across its surface. Every monitor in the room spiked simultaneously, alarms blaring through the tunnel, and through the widening crack, I could see the other version of my bathroom beginning to blur and shift, the walls behind him rippling like heat distortion over asphalt. Dr. Voss burst back into the room, her earlier calm completely gone. "The connection is destabilizing," she said, her voice shaking as she stared at the readings scrolling faster than she could track them. "Whatever's on the other side, it's been building toward this moment since the very first night. It's not trying to observe you anymore, Ren. It's trying to come through." I looked back at the glass, at the version of myself standing just inches away on the other side of a barrier that was visibly failing in real time, and I understood, in the same instinctive way you understand danger before you can name it, that whatever was about to happen next wasn't going to wait for permission from anyone in this room, government or otherwise. The other me pressed both palms flat against the fracturing glass, and for the first time since all of this began, finally spoke, his voice muffled but unmistakably my own. "You need to let me out, before they figure out what I actually am. Thank you for watching Anime Echo Tales. If you want to find out what's really on the other side of that mirror, and what the other Ren is trying to warn him about, smash that subscribe button and drop a comment below. Is it him, a copy, or something else entirely wearing his face? The next chapter of this story is coming very soon. Stay grounded, because some doors don't stay closed for long.